what I'm concerned about is we have a major crisis in higher education that is getting geometrically worse each year. Many students in the U.S. drop out in junior high. We look at a lot of the high school data and college data, but the truth of the matter is inner city in particular, we lose tons of kids from inner city barrios and inner city in New York who never finish middle school, but there's not really accurate data on that. So keep in mind there's even more students that I'm going to mention with this. Of the students who go to high school, approximately 50% go on to some form of higher education. The numbers vary a little depending on whose study you look at, but it centers around there. Of the students who go to college, about 50% of them ever finish any form of college, much worse in community colleges and two-year institutes, but overall, looking across all schools, it's still only 50%. So all of these studies that keep pointing at this, and Robin, actually you weren't there, I'm sorry, the state meetings that they had, which only Texas has a state meeting on developmental education and doesn't invite the people in their own organization who work on developmental education. I love my state, but it just does some of the dang awfulest things. Just amazing. If I give you the dramatic results first, then I'm hoping you'll listen more than you say after. But I mentioned that we have a course at UT Austin that I put in 1975. On average, and this is real data, on average, the students who don't take the course graduate somewhere around 30%, okay? They go to UT, and about 70% of them never finish, 30% do. Of the students who take our course, first or second semester of their freshman year, they graduate at 70%. Colby, I apologize, we've never done a statistical test of those numbers, but we figured it was 30 to 70. The course is based on my model of strategic learning. This model is an interactive model. It's not a model where you have an easy time tracing changes to an individual element, which very few of the models today really are. They're interactive. And Barry is one of the first people actually who introduced that with his, where it goes through a cycle, but you can go back to this if you have a problem, go around. He's one of the people who really gave me the idea to think about it that way, he and Paul Pintridge, in terms of the interactions that go on, and that's often the most important part of what exists in a model. In this model, what I attempted to do was to pull together a number of the kind of things I'm talking about today. A number of things that look at motivation, that look at cognition, metacognition, affect, emotions, all of those kinds of things. And that's what underlies this course with very dramatic results. I mean, we literally have kids at graduation who go up to their AI, the person who taught the course, and say, Mom, you got to meet this guy, you got to meet this gal, because, man, without them, I never would have graduated at UT. And this course they took, 4, 5, 6 years ago. This also underlies an instrument that I have that I've worked on called the Lassie. And the Lassie is an instrument that I originally developed back in the 80s. It took me 12 years to develop it. But it's a diagnostic prescriptive instrument. It's LASSI, and it's the Learning and Study Strategies Inventory. Lassie actually is used now in 70% of colleges and universities in the U.S., and it's in over 30 languages. It's actually been formally published in a bunch of different languages. I never in my life expect this. I grew up very poor and had a lot of money to pay off on my parents' medical bills when I was a professor when they passed away. And Lassie was coming out right around in there. It's like, great, paying it off. And suddenly, here I was in my early 50s, and it was the first time in my life I ever had a discretionary dollar in a paycheck. I've been supporting my family and working extra jobs ever since I was a first-year grad student. And so all my students call my house the house that Lassie built. It's the Lassie royalties that did it. So, you call it the same thing, you know that. My friends call it that, the house that Lassie built. And it is, it's amazing. Never did I developed Lassie for my own use in the course, because if we didn't know where they were starting, how do we know if our course was going to make a difference? So that was my initial motivation for developing the Lassie, and then I just wanted to, refine it and do things with it, and people started using it a lot, and it's like, okay, this is great. It's very hard in classes of 28 to individualize, but we try as best we can with the available materials and everything to have them do that. Anyone else? Well, thank you so much.